wrong with it. I'll just go back and park where I was. It starts raining again. Oh crap, somebody got my space. Dang. Oh, I'll go park in the back then because it starts raining again. I gotta put some gas in Roland's car for him. Well, he looks like a decent fellow. Do you need a ride or something?
No,
Oh, get next to. How far is it around the circle? Because I was thinking about coming up here to walk.
I can tell you steps. It's about 2,000 steps.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll have to figure that out.
I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
It's about, I think it's about a
Uh
mile.
huh.
Maybe a little less than a mile.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Uh huh. I don't ever ask strangers if they need a ride, but being that it's a rainy day and stuff, there's still some rain sounds, so. Plus, I did want to know too how far it was to walk. That was really my motive. A little less than a mile, he said. It looks a lot bigger than that. It's 5:16. Well, let me go upload my videos. You know, I think that if Snowden and Julian Assange uncovered acts of corruption in our government, that they should be given full immunity for complete disclosure of all the information they have. And this business of them running and hiding in other countries and stuff, to me, that's just bizarre, because it just seems to me like if they had that kind of information, even if it was illegally obtained, if it revealed government corruption, then there was sort of a need for it to be exposed. So, you know. So then you go back to the question of what's legal and what's moral. And what's moral is for those types of things to be exposed. Maybe they didn't do it the right way. But I don't know, you know, maybe there was some sense of urgency where it needed to be publicized. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I mean, it just seems ridiculous to me to have people hiding in other countries to hide from their own government. You hear about that kind of stuff happening in third world countries, in countries where there are tyrants that are terrorizing people, but we're a civilized country and we're the greatest country in the world. And, you know, I think you can tell the stuff that Snowden leaked proved that there were, in fact, illegal surveillance operations in the United States being conducted illegally by the NSA. And, you know, I think there's a lot of other stuff he uncovered that was illegal, too. So, I guess my question is, why would you want, you know, to prosecute somebody that was a whistleblower exposing acts of corruption by the government? Even if it was illegally obtained, the moral authority is that needs to be exposed, and maybe if he did that in the wrong way, maybe he might deserve some type of sentence, maybe. But I mean, I think it seems like he was afraid, or whoever this is all about. I guess it's the NSA that prosecuted him, the U.S. Attorney or Attorney General, or whatever, would have interrogated him until he'd been pronounced dead by a doctor, and treated him like he was a spy, And that's what I don't understand is why make an outlaw out of somebody. I don't know either of those two women. I don't know anybody here, actually, except for a couple of them. Maybe some of the librarians. I used to work at this library before Dick was born. I was the only library assistant that could file the stock dailies without assistance. They went back and checked and rechecked my work, and I got it right every time. That's what they told me. You're the only library assistant that we've had that can file these. They were really glad that I worked for them because I could actually do it. They didn't have to go back and, correct problems over and over again. I think it's a terrible thing for citizens to be terrified of their own government, and I think when that happens, especially if the citizens are exposing acts of corruption, that there's something there that just, indicates a real lack of trust. Between our government and the citizens, and just reeks of corruption and ill motives of our government, whoever, not all the whole government, but whoever it was, the individuals in the government who accomplished those acts. And I would think that it would be in our nation's best interest to have those individuals fully and completely disclose all of their information and to protect them so that they're not retaliated against. Because what is the real risk with this guy Snowden? He's still leaking WikiLeaks stuff. So, a couple months ago, I think, was the last time he leaked something. I don't know. I don't read WikiLeaks, but, just really, it disturbs me. It makes me feel uneasy to know that what that guy was saying was true and that, that he had to run in fear for his life because he exposed it. That really gets on my nerves. Because it just seems like, something there is really wrong, not to embrace an individual like that and offer them protection and in the best interest of the United States. What else does this guy know that we don't know he knows? And how dangerous is that to the United States for that to be exposed? Or for him to have that information, what if he sells it to another country, I don't know, I sound naive and stupid, but I believe that we are capable of handling situations like that and determining the right way to do it without causing our citizens to publicly run all over the world to protect themselves and still be able to leak that information too on top of it. That just seems so wrong. The whole thing just reeks of not being handled right, And my question is, if it was top secret information anyway, how did they get it? How did Julian Assange get it? How did Snowden manage to get it out of the NSA? What kind of security do we have in place anyway? And if they could do it, who else is doing it? And if, isn't that where the focus should be, in protecting the national security of the United States and the citizens of this country? Instead of diverting the blame, I think the United States government is equally to blame for allowing that information to be stolen. We ought to be good enough to protect our national security and our secrets from people, from the best hackers in the world, and from the best secret agents in the world, because this is the strongest country in the world. And it's a great country, and we really believe in democracy here. We really do believe in it, and it really is the best way. The whole concept of the land of the free, the home of the brave, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, freedom to pursue your dreams, and, have a home and all those things. Those are things that are guaranteed to our citizens by law. So, either we believe that or we don't. And in some situations we do, but in some we don't. And then this kind of bizarre crap happens with Snowden and Julian Assange. I think he might have been a British citizen, actually. So he might not even, I don't think he was even an American, but... I mean, he's still a human being, though. So, whatever you want to say. If it works for us, it should work for everybody else, too, and we should prove that. We should be the leader in proving that, and there should be no doubt about it, and we should be able to handle situations like that without these kinds of fiascos. That's what I think, and that comes down to leadership and government decision-making and the leaders of our government. Maybe, like I say, maybe those guys didn't do it the right way, but it doesn't change the fact that they exposed illegal actions by our government. So, I got popcorn kernels stuck in my teeth. It's 5:27. I guess I better go and upload my videos. See, she's not, I don't think she's American, or at least she's of Muslim descent or Middle Eastern descent, and she's free. She doesn't have to cover her face, I've heard about the stories of women in third world countries where if they walk around with their face uncovered, that's against the law. I can't imagine what that would be like to live that way every day. Their dresses have to be long enough. I think to cover their ankles. That used to be the tradition in the United States, though, to cover your ankles. And a woman who didn't cover her ankles, there was a problem there. They were considered to be not properly dressed, so traditions change, don't they? And social standards change, and what we consider moral behavior and immoral behavior changes too. So, other countries have a right to believe what they choose to believe. There's no reason why they shouldn't. I believe that. But to oppress somebody and to prevent them from living the way they choose to and to have their own belief system just because they don't believe the same as somebody else, that is where I draw the line, because that's still a human rights issue. You know, whether or not you want to cover your face every day, it's your face. You know, why should anybody else tell you what you can do with your face? You know, as long as you're not committing a crime with your face, then why, you know, would people do that? And the answer is oppression. You know. You know, and we've risen above that in this country, so I think we need to make sure we stay risen above that. Because we sink down to the levels of people who do oppress others for no good reason, and there's never really a good reason to oppress anybody anyway, and conduct acts of tyranny, then how are we any different than the people that we go to war against? How are we any different than a third world country or a tyrant if we're going to do the same thing to our own citizens here? Then why should we be going to fight anyplace else if we've got the same problems in our own country? And, you know, we don't have the extremes that exist in other countries like that, but it's a slippery slope, and I think it was Abraham Lincoln who said that if the United States was destroyed, it wouldn't be destroyed by other powers, it would destroy itself from the inside out, and that we were our own worst enemy in this country. So Abraham Lincoln was a very wise man, you know. So, you know, those are things to think about. You know, God bless America. I love my country, and I've never been to any other country, and I strongly believe that this is the best country in the world and the greatest opportunity to live up to your potential and live free of oppression and truly experience life as a free individual. We should all have those freedoms, and nobody should have the right to take those freedoms away from anybody else without very strong, valid reasons that are subject to judicial review, checks and balances, and extreme scrutiny. You know, do it now and ask questions later. Well, you got to at least ask the questions later if you're not going to ask them up front, you know. But just continuously doing that to somebody, you know, like surveilling your ex-wife because you're an NSA agent, nobody's stopping you. You know, that's not what this country is about. And if that's what the NSA does, then the NSA can't be trusted to do the right thing, and, you know, unless they've cleaned out those individuals who do those things. So I think it takes a lot to win back the trust of the American people when those types of things happen. And I think that probably the Senate, what I think is the Senate should probably hold hearings, either open or closed, and just have those two individuals, Snowden and Assange, testify to find out everything they know and give them complete and full immunity in exchange for all the information that they have, because they did expose corruption, you know, and if they were willing to disclose everything, then they should be protected, and we need to make sure that there are no possibilities for top secret information to ever fall into the hands of a news reporter. I don't know what Julian Assange's other motive would have been if the government gave him that information. Somebody in the government gave him that information. You know, he could have sold it, bribed people with it, blackmailed people. You know, he could have done a lot of things. He didn't. He printed it in a public forum. So I don't think his motives were to, you know, get rich or anything like that. You know, a dishonest person would have done the latter. Or would have, you know, I mean, bribed and blackmailed people and stuff like that. So, you know, that just really disappoints me. It disturbs me, and it leaves me with an unsettled feeling. And I think a lot of Americans still feel that way, you know, about it. You know, because it shouldn't it shouldn't be going on like this. It shouldn't be handled like this. You know, that's what I think. I remember watching Snowden's father in an interview. He was being interviewed by, what was his name, Anderson Cooper. And, you know, his father didn't have anything bad to say about him, didn't say that he did anything wrong, didn't find that his son would be the kind of person to do something like steal top secret information. So the character of the person, you know, to be so duplicitous as to steal top secret information, you know, that just doesn't fit. It just doesn't ring true. I think his motive was to expose corruption too. So if I was the president, I would offer them both complete immunity in exchange for full and complete disclosure of everything, where they got the information. Maybe they couldn't expose their sources, but the government should be able to tell who that person is who gave it to them. That should be a no-brainer. You know, if we can't even tell where they got it from, then there's something wrong anyway. Should know where all that information is and know exactly how to protect it and who exactly has access to it and where it's stored and all that kind of stuff. You watch the Tom Cruise movies now, they keep that stuff under lock and key and, you know, hanging from a dang ceiling, hoping you don't touch the floor or else you're going to get shot, is what, you know, the Tom Cruise movies say. So that's what boggles my mind. If that's true and that's how they really do it, then how did those guys manage to get their hands on it? And I think the story with Elisa Song is that somebody gave it to him, sent it to him, and just kept sending it to him. And he just printed it. He didn't edit it or anything because he didn't want to destroy the authenticity of the documents, and was choosing instead to publish them because he was contacted and the information was leaked to him. You know, I don't know what he did to validate the information to make sure that the source was tried and true. I think reporters are bound ethically to do that. But obviously the source was trustworthy because the information turned out to be true. So anyway, I guess that's all I have to say about it. It is now, 5:33. I'm tired. Light yellow, clear, sparkling urine. A lab tech told me when I was doing my pee test. When she looked at my pee, she was like, "Oh yes, light, clear, sparkling urine."